Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today I think we are
born to be wild.
Yeah, nice one. That was the old lady in the background. She doesn't want to be on camera today, but she'll do the backup lyrics for us, no problem. Her and I were thinking the other day that, hey, you know, summer's coming, going from snowmobiles, what do you transition to next? Hey, let's get some bikes. Let's go riding. I've never ridden a street bike before in my life, neither has she, so this is a new endeavor for us. So we went on the old interwebs marketplace. I bought that one for Lily first. You know, it was a great deal, cheap, $2,000. She's only 5'1", so she needed something that would touch the ground. That's a what year is that? That's a 1997 Suzuki LS 650. You know, they call it the Savage. They sit low. It's a good beginner's bike. Picked that up for her first. Got it home and investigated it. Had a little bit of an engine noise. I thought, you know, the lady that was selling it to me said that single cylinders, that's just how they sound. So, you know, you take people for their word. I knew better, should have known better, got it home. Yeah, no. We ended up buying this one for Lily. A little bit shinier, nicer, newer, you know, and a bit quieter. All right, so we're going to get into some other projects. Lifting Suburban, you guys have commented. That'll be the next one, but this, I figure, is a quick, easy project and video because, you know, the old lady and I wanted to get out riding. Well, she really did. I have never really had much of an interest in riding bikes, but I want to do more things with her, no problem. So, went out and bought her this bike. This is a 1997, originally badged as a Savage 650. You can kind of see, first thing to come off of this was the tank on the side, or the sticker on the side of the tank, because I'll insert a photo here. Now, when we first brought it home, it was a beautiful looking bike, had the saddle bags and everything on it, but on the tank it said big single Savage end. She was having no part of that. Ain't no way I'm riding around advertising that I'm a big single. No way. I am not ready to mingle, so that had to go. But as far as beginners bikes go, I mean, they sit nice and low. She's only 5'1". I'm not very tall myself, so I mean, they're stable. I know probably going to catch a lot of flack as a dude, you know, buying a Suzuki 650 as a first bike, but ain't nothing I touch stays original. So originally we got this for Lily. It was a great deal, you know, but the engine, when I bought it, it was making a funny ticking noise, and I took the lady's word that it is what it is, but I know what it is. It ain't right, that's what it is, because we went and picked up this suite. This is the exact same version of that bike. That's a 97, this is a 2006, but they did not change like anything about these bikes except for the back. That one's got the backrest there. This one doesn't have it. Handlebars are a little bit different. These ones are like drag bars. Those are like cruiser bars. But other than that, the engine's identical, the exhausts are identical, everything else. But this one looks really good, and it also sounds good. So we were on Marketplace, and this sweetheart here was up for sale for a very good price, and this thing is like new. You know, it's nice and shiny, the chrome is shiny, the paint's good, and most importantly, the engine, when you fire it up, sounds nice. Come in close, make sure they can hear how quiet this is. Beautiful, quiet, nice bike. So that one sounds, I assume, how they all should sound. When I was looking at this one, you know, like I said, I should have known better, but this one sounds a little different. If you hear that, kind of sounds like something's clanging around in there, valves, timing chain, something, because that one, that sounds nothing like this one. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. And that one definitely does have some sort of issue going on with the engine. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. It's probably got something to do with either the valves are out of adjustment or maybe the timing chain's loose. I'm hoping that's what it is, but it's, you know, maybe it just sounds worse than what it is. But yeah, Lily's is good to go. Those saddlebags were off of this one originally. You know, I bought this one originally for her. Got a smoking deal, you know, even though the engine's making some funny noise. I got 3 leather coats for her, a brand new helmet, you know. It had all the saddlebags, all the extra storage, so worked out good. We didn't have to buy that stuff for her new bike because, yeah, she wasn't having any of that. So we're taking all the good stuff off of this one, the saddlebags, you know, the windshield's coming off of that one, the backrest, all that. Gonna put, she likes the saddlebags on hers, and hey, that way she can carry my stuff, you know. You know women with their purses, they gotta have everything with them everywhere they go. Oh, that must be her side. Oh yeah, that's my side right there. What's in this back little one? Oh, a plant. Yeah, this definitely hers. Now the 2006, I mean, this thing is, the, you know, seat's a little bit different, but this thing is like brand new. It's got 16,000 kilometers on it, and yeah, it shows it. I mean, this thing has had very little use. This one, however, looks like it's been a little bit used and abused. It's got some scratches, got some dings, but we're gonna go through. I'm gonna turn this into my style of bike so I can cruise around with her. If I'm gonna die on something on the street, it's gonna look good, it's gonna sound good. Yeah, I know that's just a single cylinder 650 Suzuki. They're not the greatest in power, not really a manly bike, but I've never ridden a street bike before. I want something I'm comfortable on, and you know what? I ain't leaving that the way it is. I don't, you know, it's not a bad looking bike, but I'm gonna change her up a little bit. I think I'm gonna get rid of that back fender, back seat, everything, get rid of the front fender, turn this thing into like a bobber style, and definitely, maybe the fix for that is taking that quiet muffler off and just putting a loud pipe on there. See you later, tick. So we're gonna crack into this project here. I mean, there's not really a lot to do, but I'm just gonna do a basic strip down of this, show you. It doesn't take much. Once you start removing some of these things off the bikes, totally changes the look of it. And the style that I'm more partial to is the bobber style. I mean, they look pretty good, stock, you know, classic kind of motorcycle look and feel, but I'm like a Harley Davidson Marlboro kind of guy, you know, that bike that Harley had, sat down low, kind of like a bobber style. That's what I want, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'll take the windshield off and then pull the back seat off, the fender. This thing's gonna look totally different. This windshield's only clamped on by these little mounts, a couple of 3/16 Allen keys. Loosen them off, no problem. The whole point of riding a motorcycle is to feel the wind in your hair, so why you put a windshield on it, man? Although, probably June bugs. I don't want to catch one of them in the face and be like catching a softball. So already, if you pan back, take a look at that there. That already looks like a different motorcycle. So next, I mean, it's just this rear bag there to pull that off the backrest. I'm going to be removing this section here, this top seat, and the fender. I've already gone through and removed a bunch of the bolts earlier because we took the saddlebags off to put on Lisa's, but we'll get going on this. So most of this stuff, I just got a couple of bolts holding it in. And that fella comes off nice and easy. And there's one 10 mil holding this guy down, and then it just slides right out of there. Got to pull this sissy bar side bracket off. Try and find it. This side's good to go. And just unhook the signal lights from the harness. Pull the wires through. And this whole section comes right off. And then there's 4 bolts that hold this whole rear fender section on. There's 2 up here, 2 way down in here. They're a bit of a bugger to get at with the wheel on there, but if you're used to breaking your knuckles and scratching and scraping, you'll be fine. You gotta hold your tongue right. There we go. Well, that's off. And then remove the rear fender. Alright, we got all the back fender off and the seat and everything, so now we'll pull the front fender off. There we go. Now that it's stripped down, no front fender, no back fender, all that, it's looking like a totally different motorcycle. I had these fenders off two motorcycles I made for a Christmas float years and years ago. It's like, you know what, for the bobber style, I kind of like the idea of maybe cutting this back section off and just having the little bit of fender here, and then I'll lower it down a little bit. And I'm gonna paint the tank and the side plastics there. Probably gonna go flat black because that's cool. We got it to the point where it's starting to look good, but it needs to sound good, and the way that that engine's ticking is no good. But I got a real cheap, easy fix for that, I believe. A while ago in one of our videos, we got the Piranha Doom Buggy. We had to swap the motor in, had to cut up an exhaust, and I used an old exhaust I had back in the scrapyard there off of some old motorcycle. I don't know what it was. I used the header pipes off of it. And on the end of those header pipes were these awesome side pipes that are like hollow. They got zero restriction in these. I was keeping them, hanging them on for some reason. I didn't know why until right now. I'm gonna yank this stock muffler off, and this side pipe's going on there, and we're gonna hear what that sounds like. So long, sucker! Holy. That's meant to be right there. Like, look at that. Perfect length. It's almost there. I could weld this piece onto here and then unclamp it there, so. Oh, that's beauty. Let's see what that sounds like. Or hear what that sounds like. Are you ready? Fire in the hole. Alright, here we go.
Do you think it's loud enough?
You hear that? I think I need a louder pipe. Yeah, baby! Woo! We're starting to achieve the look that I want, you know, Harley's bike from Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. So I took the shocks off, I've lowered it down a couple inches. I'm going to make some bars to lock it, the suspension. We're turning her into a hardtail. Might not be the most comfortable, but it's gonna look good. So all I'm gonna do is I've cut these pieces of tubing, and then I got some short pieces. I'll weld them on the end there like that. Those will slip over the bolts, and then they'll just act as rigid shocks. No suspension. All right, welded those two up. Now we have shock delete. Let's slip them on there. Now she's a hardtail, but now I think I'm gonna take this chrome front fender off an old motorcycle I had, and I'm gonna cut it and just see how it looks. Just gonna do like a half fender just to the top of the tire. So I just cut the end off past the rivet there, so I didn't have any holes or nothing in it. I just wanted the short section, and then slip it in there just so I might actually shorten that up, move it towards the seat a little bit more, but at least that way it gives it the little bit of the fender look that I'm going for. I like it. And then I think I'm gonna bolt the original front fender on. I'll put it back, and then I'm gonna trim it down, make it a little bit shorter. It's coming together pretty good. I got that side pipe on there. All I did was I cut the original brace that was on there off, and I just welded a flat bar to the frame, came up with a bolt, bolted on there. That way I'll be able to weld that pipe on there, and then I can unclamp it there if I need, or I can just unbolt it from the motor, take that bracket off, and I can pull the whole exhaust off in one shot. I got my hard struts on there, turn it into a hardtail. Obviously I'll have to paint them. Welded a couple of studs onto there so I can mount a license plate. Nice one. And then the rear fender, what did I do there? I cut the rear fender right in half, and I pulled the panel out. That was the piece there that originally bolted up under there, and then that's the little section of the chrome fender I had. Got it welded on there, and I just got a piece of tin backer that's gonna go up against the back of the seat, so I'll throw that on and we'll take a look. Also too, because I'm putting a small fender on the back, I cut the front fender too. Instead of having it come all the way to the front there and then drop down, I just kind of rounded it off there. And then Connor thought it was pretty cool to have the little bat wing thing, so yeah, I did that on the back side. Let's put the back fender on in the seat and let's see what she looks like. I reused this piece because it's got this little stamp bracket that the solenoid bolts to, and then what do I got? The regulator or whatever I can mount up in here right under the seat, so everything's tight and where it should be. So yeah, I just made the little back fender there. I've got that piece. I can put a brake light on and maybe turn signals, or I'll figure something out. Well, there it is. I mean, it isn't hasn't been painted yet the way I want or anything, but that's basic idea of it, you know, lowered in the back. Got the modification to the front fender there, cut that back. We just got the little tool kit there. And then the side pipe on there, the little tiny fender. I like it. She's looking good. Nice and low, hopefully. I know, it's just a 650, you know, a girl's bike, whatever. But I mean, hey, it's a fun little beginner bike for me. Cheap on insurance, you know, and then once I get used to riding and all that, I'll get something bigger. But for now, that's cool, man. Well, I was gonna fire it up there, and then the thing flooded out. You got to take the gas tank off to get at the spark plug there, and then they hide it way down in there. It's hard to get it in there with the fingers. So little tip: find yourself a piece of rubber hose. Then you just jam your spark plug in the end of the hose there. That way you can just hold the hose, stick her way down in there, and then you just spin the hose, get her started. Much easier than trying to do it with your fingertips. Then you just pull the hose off. Didn't really take a whole lot to transform it from the stock like Lily's to chopped or modified like mine, but hey, it was cheap, easy. I had that side pipe kicking around, and I didn't have to buy nothing else for it. I still got to get into the engine, figure out what the actual tick is. I mean, could ignore it now that I got the loud pipe on there, but I'm sure if I do, it'll leave me stranded on the side of the road somewhere. But she's looking good, sounding good. I wonder if it still goes good. Well, it makes some noise. It goes pretty good. You know, it might be a 650, but hey, I like it. Leaves those squiggly marks on the road too, like you see in the road signs when they say, go have some fun. Nice one. Well, Lily's might be cleaner, but mine is definitely meaner. Oh yeah, I love it. You know, not too bad for a budget build. Picked that thing up, like I said, pretty cheap, $2,000. I mean, you can't even buy a kid's mini bike these days for $2,000. And, you know, it's hard to believe. It's the exact same as that, you know. Just by modifying, taking the rear fender off, cutting the front fender, lowering it down a bit, put that little small fender on there. I had that side pipe. It sounds pretty cool for a single-cylinder 650, I think. But, you know, it's a budget build. Didn't really cost me nothing except for what I got into buying that thing and stuff I had laying around. So, be a good beginner bike for me. You know, I'll have fun ripping around on that, and I'm sure I'll get tired of it being a 650 and slow, and I'll probably want to upgrade, but who knows. The before and after is pretty cool. I mean, it started out as a good-looking bike, and with a few little tweaks, I mean, that's a big change, man. And I mean, I'm by no means done with this. I'm still going to paint it up, still going to get into the engine, check and see what's going on with the clicking and clacking. Pretty sure it's going to have a timing chain or valve issue, but I'll fix it no matter what anyway. It's looking too good now not to fix it, but I'm still going to do some other things, paint the tanks. You know, I got some ideas, things I want to do, clean it up, all that jazz, but you know, we'll do that in another episode. And as always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It helps us out. You know, I enjoy doing these videos and messing around with all these projects. And as always, take it easy.